All right, Brian.
Yep.
Brian, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Canoga Park.
San Fernando Valley?
Yeah.
And tell me about your family.
My dad was deported like at when I was a year old, and my mom dropped me off with my paternal grandparents at like a year and a half, two, with my little sister, and took off, went go and do drugs and game bang and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So your grandparents raised you.
For a little while. My mom came back. She got with my stepdad when I was like 4. And they had this bright idea of taking us away and collecting welfare so that they could pay for their drug habits. And I mean, it just went downhill from there.
How would you describe your childhood in general?
Horrific. Volatile. Just downright cruel.
What were your parents, your mom and your stepdad, doing for money?
My stepdad used to sell me crack houses to support his habit, and my mom's. So a lot of the times, he would just stuff me in the car, drive somewhere, or whatever, or like force me to go with him. And we go into a house or wherever, sometimes a house, an abandoned building, like somewhere, and he would get money or drugs, and he would leave, and I would stay. And
It's a hell of a childhood. And your sister went through the same thing?
For the most part, I try to make it so that she didn't. Like pick fights with my stepdad and stuff like that. I love my little sister a lot, and I didn't want nothing to happen to her. And he knew that, so he wasn't a normal person, man. He had no soul. Like, that man had no remorse, no nothing in his like eyes, and and he soon found it. Like, he saw that I would like pick fights with him, and like I would do anything so that he wouldn't touch my sister. Like, he like that's how he would bend my arm, per se, to get me to go to these crack houses, to get me to do things for him, and but for the most part,
How long were you with your parents?
2.5 years, just every day of that.
And then where did you go after that?
Well, like on November 12th, 04, he beat and raped my sister to death in a park, and like she like died on like somebody's lawn, and like we went to the hospital from there, and they took me away from like everybody. Like, they didn't put me back with like my grandparents, and like I went to foster care like the next day. Or no, my bad. The next month, I spent the whole month in ICU at UCLA. I was so malnourished. I had a broken pelvis. I had broken ribs. I had lacerations up and down my back. I was 3 pounds at the age of 6. I had bruises in various stages of healing, burns. He used to like play he called it fireflies, and like he would like put cigarettes out on me, and he would just tell me to be quiet when he did it, and like if I made noise, he would take it out on my sister, and if I didn't, like, it's just another firefly.
How far did you go to school?
Initially, I dropped out. My my 8th grade year, 7th grade year, I dropped out. Went back like in my 9th grade year. I caught up really quick. I was playing baseball, and then I threw out my arm, and I dropped out like the next year, 10th grade, and but I around 19, I went back and got my GED, and then I went to college for a little bit, and I have my KDAC. It's a certified drug and alcohol counselor, but so some college, I guess you could say.
You're now living on the streets?
I am. Last year I kind of threw everything away. I had like my grandparents. I finally reunited with them when I was like 16, 17. Because in the state of California, if you're in foster care, at your 16th birthday, they send you a paper with all of public records of your like family, like any relatives that they have on record and stuff like that. They'll send you their name, their address, and like a way to contact them, and like just anything that's on public records about them. And I reconnected with my grandparents, stuff like that. But last year that like everything came crashing down again, man. Like finally caught a break. I had like 2 years sober. I finished school. I was working in rehabs. I was working at the rehab I got clean at and everything, and everybody died. Like my grandparents died on both sides. My girlfriend died. She got hit by a car. Like it just my sponsor died. He went out after 22 or 23 years of sobriety. He went out, overdosed, and died. Like it felt like everybody was dying around me, and then my heart gave out, and I had to have heart surgery. And so in recovery, they had me on Percocets, and I've been using I was a recovering heroin addict, and I felt that buzz sitting on my sofa in my apartment, and like I gave into it, man. Like I didn't see a reason to be sober anymore, man. I did a lot of it just so that my grandparents could see like me okay, because they worried so much. And there was nobody, no more to worry about me, nobody to care, like nobody to go to, no one to call or anything. Like I was lonely, man. So I went back to it.
And now you're using what, fentanyl?
Yeah, I'm using fentanyl now. It's crazy. Everybody's on this, man.
Yeah, I know.
Like everybody. Like people I knew from when I was younger, like messing around, that were like sworn like speed freaks. Like you would never touch an opiate. They didn't like being out. They're on this stuff now. It's it's definitely got like the lower class, like definitely in a grip. It's insane.
Yeah. And you're just staying on the street? Do you have a tent or anything?
I had a tent. Caltrans just took all everything. I got out. Like they told me to get up, go, and I grabbed 2 bags, like my 2 duffel bags that I always carry with me, and my bike, and they took everything else. I just threw it all away. And like right now, I'm just like crashing out wherever like I don't see other people, so that I don't get my stuff checked.
Living on the streets is rough, right?
Definitely.
You've had bad things happen to you?
A lot. Yeah.
You get robbed every time you fall asleep, right?
Yeah, every time I fall asleep, like I wake up, and it's not always like homeless people. Like I've had like regular people pass by me and see my phone, see my wallet, see, see like whatever it is, like if they liked it, like to them, like I'm not worthy to have it. Like I feel like that's what they think, like because they'll just like if I'm not paying attention, they'll just grab it and walk away. And like being asleep, like it's rough to go to sleep, man. Like not just the fact that I get robbed. Like I have night terrors from like my childhood. I go to sleep and a lot of times I relive a lot of those things, and it's not fun closing my eyes.
What do you do for money now?
I boost, I like I'll hit targets and stuff like that for like various things like cosmetics, soap, Levi's, just whatever, and I go down to MacArthur and I sell it all. Everything has a price. We get paid like 10%, 15% of what it's cost. And I'll do that. Sometimes I'll scrap, I'll pull copper. I don't know, I whatever the hustle is for the day.
How old are you now?
24.
24. Do you have any friends?
On the streets, you don't really have friends. You just have people you get high with. But, I mean, there's a couple of people that I recently, like, left. Because I don't know, I have a problem with commitment. I have a problem about people that care. That I could say we're friends, I've known them since I was 9, when I first started running away. Like, I've known them since then, like 15 years. And they care. They see me as like a little brother, I guess. But I don't know. Like, I just have that, like, not having family. I get weird when someone tries to put me in that, like, in that category for them, like when someone tries to treat me like their little brother and stuff like that. Don't have that. I've never had that. I don't yearn for that, I get really weird, and so, I pack up and move.
What emotions do you go through now, living this life?
Emotions? I go through mostly a droning, just, if I could explain it, a droning gray feeling. Like, there's hardly any times that I'm happy, hardly any times where I'm sad. I'm just worried, like, about my drugs pretty much. Yeah, and, like, not getting killed. Like, that's it. I don't, like, I get, like, the only emotions I get, like, I get content when I get my drugs and it gets hooked up or whatever. And I get angry when, like, it's all gone or someone steals it. And, like, other than that, not really much. Every now and then, though, like, I'll have a good laugh or something like that with somebody. But I don't know, it seems few and far in between now.
Yeah. Do you feel helpless against the fentanyl addiction?
Definitely. I can't get past 3 days without it. I've tried like 4 or 5 times now, like, just like quit. Like I freak out at night and whatever, and I just like say, fuck it, dude, it's not worth it. Like, because with heroin, I mean, I like heroin, like, it's 5 days tops, 7, and like the rest of it's all in your head, like, and you just like low energy, but like those first initial like 5 days, like, you'll be throwing up, you'll have the runs, like all those like symptoms of kicking and stuff. But like with fentanyl, I get this horrible anxiety, and like I have to get up. I have, like, it's insane. Like, I've never felt this way before about anything. Like, not for my heroin, not for anything, man. Like, I feel so wrong inside. I feel so wrong outside. I feel so wrong, period. If I don't have it, I have to have it. You know, I don't like feeling like that, so I try to stay well.
What's your biggest fear? No.
Being a John Doe. Like, I don't have family to identify me. I don't have friends.
You feel like there's a better chance of you dying than getting clean?
Honestly, probably. I mean, I have heart problems. I've already had 3 heart surgeries, like open heart surgeries.
Yeah, but then fentanyl's also a dangerous drug.
Yeah, overdosing.
Yeah. You've OD'd before?
Honestly, like on fentanyl, I've OD'd less than I did on heroin because it got me off the needle.
So you smoke the fentanyl?
I smoke it only. I mean, you know, there are those times where like it's day 2, I'm moving on to day 3, and I have to get well. That I'll take like my nectar collector, like what I used to smoke it with, or like the pens and stuff like that, the tutors, and like I'll like run water through them, or like alcohol or something, and something that's water soluble, and I'll draw that up and I'll slam that, like just the residue of it, you know. But like rarely do I like throw like a rock of fentanyl into my cooker.
What's the roughest part of this lifestyle for you?
The roughest part of it is not being able to shower. Like, it just adds so much to everything, you know? Like, you feel disgusting because you look disgusting, you feel disgusting, and people treat you like you're an illness, and like, you'd be surprised what just one shower could do. Like, you shower up, put on some clean clothes, no one would think I'm homeless, you know? Like, I feel a lot better. I don't feel homeless when I shower. But there's just like, there's so many people that have ruined it, you know? Like, I used to be able to go into like a fast food restaurant or like a Starbucks or something, like single stall, you know, like, and take only 5 to 10 minutes, you know, and be able to like drop down into my boxers and wash in the sink, and that was enough, you know. Like, you know, at Starbucks there's a drain in the middle of the floor, like I could actually dump water on me and like, and then clean it all up at the end, and like, but so many people didn't care about cleaning it up, taking 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in there, overdosing in it. And now places don't want any of us in there. Like, you know, like it's hard to find a place to like take a shit, like, because they don't want us in there.
How big a factor do you feel like the sexual abuse you went through as a young kid played in where you're at today?
All of it.
All of it, yeah.
Definitely all of it. I mean, from the way I interact with people, like, you'd be surprised, like, how many regular seeming people bought me, you know? Like, not just like crackheads bought me. Like, your regular run of the day meal, like, just middle class person has bought me more times than not when I was younger. And like, seeing that just changed me. Like, I don't know. I don't necessarily like people. And I know you hear that a lot. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like people." Like, I generally don't like people. Like I don't connect with people correctly, because of it. Like people fulfill a role in my life, and that's it. You know, you need that mentor in your life. I don't connect with the mentor for him. I connect with him because he's my mentor. I need someone to teach me. I connect. You need a best friend in your life. Someone to help you maneuver through this because you need allies. I don't have a best friend, and I don't care about that person per se as their name or anything. They just fulfill that need as a person that is there by my side because of it, and that plays a really big role, like, on how much, like, are you willing to walk away from things, like how much things weigh out and stuff like that when you connect that way. Like, I didn't care, and it didn't do much for my self-worth.
You feel like life is unfair?
I don't choose to look at life like that, but definitely it is unfair. Like, you just get cards, you get dealt your cards. Like, if life was fair, like, I'd probably be dead too. I've had to do some bad things, I guess you could say, to stay alive out here. And if life was fair, I'd be dead. But it's more like life doesn't give a fuck. Like, it just doesn't care. It will continue moving. If I'm laying down on the sidewalk, overdosed and dead, or if I'm in a back alley getting beat, all life will continue on. Like, majority, I probably have like 3 people that would care, if I died today. I don't have many people that would think about me, wonder where I was at, try to look for me, or anything.
Is it hard for you to hold on to hope for your future?
Yeah, definitely. Like, when someone wants something for you, you seem to want it more because you see that they're fighting for you, and, like, you see that that's good, and that you need that, and, like, them helping you and all that, it inspires you, it gives you hope. When you have no one, like, you have a childhood like mine, so you don't have the self-worth, like, it all seems pointless. Like, if it wasn't for probably fentanyl, I probably would have offed myself by now. I pretty much live to get high now.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life, Brian?
The most important lesson I've probably learned is what is done in the dark will always come out in the light. What goes through the wash has to come out in the rinse. Like, whatever you do, especially out here on the streets, it will be found out. If it's not today, if it's not tomorrow, it might be 2 years down the road, like, through a conversation between 2 random people, and they put it together, and it will come and bite you in the ass. Like, the streets, like, it's vicious in everything, in all ways, but it's the closest you could get to fair, the closest you could get to freedom, I guess you could say. Some people say that, but everything you do, it either is for you or against you. It is not just an action. It will close some doors, it will open some, or, you know, it might be your demise, and it might, you know, benefit you, but it will be for either your benefit or your downfall. The streets do keep count. They do keep a balance, a ledger, I guess you could say, you know? And like, it's crazy that so many people that do so much wrong have such a great sense of justice. It's, you know, oxymoronic.
All right, Brian. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Of course.
I wish
Thank
you
you.
the best of luck out here.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.